It is a beautiful day today in Ontario, Canada. It is November the 6th and it's 22 degrees Celsius. It feels like spring, and I'm thankful because I don't have to get my oil tank filled up anytime soon, I don't think. So I thought I would take this opportunity to get these geraniums out of the pots, and I have actually saved them over the winter before but lost some of them. So I thought I would do a little bit of research and do it properly this year. So I found this website, which is absolutely lovely. Her name is Kim from Shiplap and Shells, and she has a breakdown of how to save these geraniums and overwinter them. There's 4 different ways to do it. She talks about the life cycle of the geranium and your hardiness zone, and she has a lot of information. I have my pruning shears and I've cleaned those off with some alcohol, just in case I introduce disease to these plants. I don't want to go to the trouble of overwintering them and then have them wiped out by disease. So you can see I've got some geraniums here in pots. They're looking a little haggard, but there's a lot of green growth on them. I still have my hanging basket too, and these ones in pots at the front. Still have my jack-o'-lantern. So what I'm going to do is pull these out of the soil. I'm just going to do this over the dirt part of my garden so I don't get dirt all over my lawn. Take them out of the pot and carefully remove the root. Shake it off. And she said to cut them to about a half of what they are. You want to actually cut off all the old blooms, the flowers, and any dead spots and leaves or diseased leaves. That needs to be cut off. So I'm just going to pick off the dead leaves first, just to clean it up. I'm going to trim this one just above these 2 new shoots. So I've taken that off and left that. Everything looks pretty healthy. The leaves look pretty healthy. And then on this stem here, I'm going to leave that and trim it there and take off and just trim the flower stalk. This one, now this leaf has some yellowing to it, so I'll remove that and remove the flower stem. My grandma used to keep all of her geraniums. I wish she was here so I could ask her. I should ask my Aunt June, she'd know. So where else could I cut this? She said to about half, but that's... I'm going to cut that right to there. And this one there. Remove the flower stem. And that one. And anything that looks unhealthy. Got that one. That's got some yellowing, that flower, or that leaf right there. I'm sure some of them will once we put them away. So that looks trimmed up nicely. There's just that little bit of landscape fabric that was around the roots, so I'm going to take that off, shake off any dirt. There's that one. And we'll do the same with this one. That one looks pretty, you can see it's kind of hollow on the inside. So we're going to cut that down further. That one looks pretty good too. That's going to fall off. So I have about 5 more pots that I'm going to do of these red geraniums, and then I've got some pink ones out back. So I'm going to continue on with these, and I'm going to show you the geraniums when I'm done. I moved to the backyard so I could use this this stand that James made me. I use this for washing vegetables. This is easier so I don't have to bend down, and I also put the potting soil in the vegetable garden. So that's why I moved back here. If anyone has luck overwintering geraniums, let me know what your technique is, because let's hope this works. A website that I looked at looked pretty thorough, so I have a lot of confidence. It's pretty windy out here. Warm, but windy. So I've got a rotten stem there. I'm going to trim that right back. And it looks healthy there. So I think that they turned out quite healthy looking. You're supposed to actually do this before the first frost. We've had several frosts, but these geraniums were quite close to the house, so they seem pretty healthy. So the red ones are all done, and those are the ones that I purchased from a store last year, and these are the pots that they came in. So I'm going to wash those out and keep them for next year, because we can plant the geraniums back in them, and then they actually sat nicely out in our planters out there. And then these ones here have to be done. These are the ones that we grew from seed, and they're a variety of pink geraniums. So I have this one to do as well, and this one to do. And I definitely want to save these because geranium seeds are so expensive. Before I trim these back, I want to take some of the seeds out of these geranium flower heads that have gone to seed. There's some that are green, but there are some that are dry, and I can see a seed right there. Right there. There's two of them right there. So, oops, I just lost one. So this is the geranium flower that's gone to seed. We didn't deadhead them. And that one looks like it's too green, but again, there's a few that are nice and dry. Then I will take the seeds out and store them in paper envelopes, and then I will go and cut down the rest of these. I'm just going to break this one apart. I'm sure some of them have dried out and floated away, but that's a seed right there, right there. Put that aside. There's another one. It almost has like a little feather. Excuse my hands, look, I need some hand cream. It almost has a little feather on the end of the seed, but that's the seed right there. I'm gonna put them in my little bowl so they don't blow away. There's a better shot. You can see the seeds are starting to emerge from the seed pod, and if I just pull them out, there they are right there. Luckily they have these little feathers on them so that they can float away and reseed themselves somewhere. Almost like a milkweed seed. So I've just spent about 5 minutes collecting those seeds right there. And last year, I think I spent about $30 for 30 seeds. So that's pretty crazy, $1 a seed. So anyway, that's really an easy way to save money. So there's the seeds for the geraniums, and I'm going to dry those out, leave them in a paper envelope for next year. I have all of my geraniums dug out of the pots, and these are the pink ones, the ones that we had planted and the ones that we had grown from seed. So there's about 24, oops, I forgot a flower. You're supposed to take those off. So there's about 24 in here, and these are the red ones, the ones that we purchased, and there's about 18 in here. Okay, I am ready to store these geraniums, and obviously, judging by the look of these leaves, I have left these down here. I didn't come right down to store them as I should have. I forgot about them. Well, I didn't really forget about them. I knew they were down here, but I just kept putting it off. But anyway, you can store these geraniums. They're bare root, and you can store these hanging upside down in a cool, dry, unheated area. I think I'm going to store these in the root cellar. So I'm going to put mine in paper bags and in a box. So these are being stored as a bare root. And the reason why they can be stored as a bare root is because these stems are full of moisture. They're like a succulent stem. So I think what I'm going to do is, according to the website, I should take them out of the place I'm going to store them, which is in a box or a paper bag for me, and soak the root maybe a couple of times in the winter. And after you soak the root, then you dry them out again and then place them back into your bag or the box, or hang them upside down from a nail with some string. But there should be some airflow because they are prone to mold. So I'm just going to put some of these in a paper bag. And I'm just inspecting these stems as I put them in, and they're quite firm. There, I've got about 5 of those in that bag, so that should be good. Now, I honestly have no idea why it's a good idea to store these geraniums upside down, but I have read maybe it forces the moisture down into the stem. I don't know if that makes sense, but we'll just go with it. Apparently the survival rate is quite high when you put them upside down, so we're going to try that, because I haven't had luck any other year, so let's try it this way. And I may be putting too many in here, I don't know, but I don't want to mix up my red and pink ones. So we'll just kind of loosely put them in there. There. So then we will close this up just like that, because I want a little bit of airflow. And then maybe in another month and a half, I'll come and soak these roots in water, dry them out again, and then repack them in the box. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave these like that, and I'm going to lay them flat in the root cellar. We'll do a little test. So we will store these in the root cellar. Apparently it should not get below 8 degrees Celsius. So it's about 16 degrees in here, 16 degrees Celsius. So that should be good. If it gets really cold in the middle of the winter, I'll just bring them out of the cold room. So let's place these. Okay, so I don't want to put these on the floor. I want there to be a bit of airflow. So I'm going to prop them up right by the potatoes so that there's airflow on the bottom. And just kind of close that a little bit so there's a little bit of air that gets through. So we'll try that. That's where the box is going to be. The bags are laying flat, a little bit of burlap underneath. The tops of the bags are open just that much, so we'll have airflow there too. So hopefully this works. And we'll check back in a couple months. So I have put those geraniums to bed for the winter, and I hope they survive. We'll be checking them in about a month or 2 months, giving them a good root soak, and hopefully I have geraniums for next year, because that will be a real time saver, so I don't have to start them from seed again, and also money saver too, because the seeds are expensive and also the plants are expensive. So hopefully they last. But go check out that website, Shiplap and Shells, and she gives a lot of good information about different ways you can overwinter your geraniums in different growing zones too. So that's really helpful. So I'm glad you came along with me today. I hope this video is helpful. We'll see if they survive or not. And thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you again next time.